going on, guys? It's Tim with the Gutter Growth Podcast. Today I got Jeremy Mitchell with me. Jeremy's going to be speaking at the summit, and I believe you got a booth as well. What's going on, Jeremy? How you doing today?
Good to see you again, Tim. It's been a while.
Yeah, man. What you been up to?
Just grinding away on the business, brother. Coaching sales reps and companies make more money. That's what it's about. Man.
I seen you had a post the other day where someone did pretty good, huh?
Oh yeah. I tried to share those testimonials whenever they come in. That was a cool one because it was unsolicited, and he hasn't been a client for a while, but served him well. So nice, he'll probably come back around one of these days.
Good deal.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to be giving out a Gutter Summit ticket today. You got to go ahead and comment the word grow. We don't have too many tickets left. If you haven't purchased your ticket yet, I definitely recommend that you do. If you got any questions, definitely reach out to me. But definitely comment the word grow for a chance to win a free ticket today. Jeremy, can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be speaking on?
Yeah, I'm going to be having an objection handling masterclass. Last time when I spoke about the closing sequence. And ultimately, objection handling is probably one of the easiest, fastest hacks you can do to overcome just not being able to sell in general. So being able to overcome objections in a way that makes sense, that's conversational, that's not pushy. That's what I'll be going over.
Objections are definitely important. What's a main objection that most people are normally hitting you with?
Well, when I was selling gutter screens, I would say it boils down to about 3 or 4 common ones. Usually it's I need to think about it. Price is more than what I had thought it was going to be. I need to talk to my spouse, and collecting other bids. Those are usually the 3 or 4, top objections. And then they break down into subcategories of if it's a logistical objection, or if it's a fear-based objection, or if it's just a smoke screen. And a lot of those objections start off as smoke screens. So if you can get them to lower their guard, they'll actually tell you what the real objection is. And that's what the masterclass is going to be about. So
smoke screen's basically just something they're putting up, but it's not really the truth.
Yeah, they're just lying to you, basically. They could be a secret shopper. They maybe had no intention of buying at all, or they just don't want to tell you the truth. So
what do you find is how do you find that?
Well, first things first, you have to handle all objections as if they're real and legitimate first. And then once you are able to kind of isolate them and see if that's a real objection or not, then it's probably a fear-based objection. And then you can go, the way you overcome fear-based objections is to reframe their thinking. For example, if they're afraid of the cost being too high, reframing their thinking, like if they say, "Oh, I can't afford that price," and say, "Yeah, that's not a problem. I'm curious, if you can't afford the $5,000 for the gutters right now, how are you going to be able to afford the $10,000 or $15,000 to replace the the rotting wood or the repair the foundation or something like that?" And get them to reframe their thinking that the cost of the gutter is not, or gutter screens aren't too high. It's that if they don't do the gutters or gutter screens, they're going to have an even higher price later on down the road.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
No doubt. So if anyone's on here, if you want to go ahead and comment the word grow, I'm going to be giving out a free Gutter Summit ticket. You just got to comment the word grow in the comments for a chance to win. And if you have any questions for me or Jeremy, go ahead and hit us with some questions in the comments.
How many people do we have on right now?
Right now, we got about, I think we're at 255 people.
Wow.
So, I maybe have room for 10 more, maybe 12.
It's interesting. I've got one of my clients I'm trying to get to go to the summit.
Are you?
Yeah. I don't know if he's on here or not.
We got 22 days left.
Yeah. I'm trying to get him to. He's a one-man band. He doesn't want to step away. So that's the downside.
I hear that a lot. I'm too busy. I'm on the truck.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to get them to realize that, that one little week of a sacrifice will pay you, tens of thousands of dollars down the road. Yeah. And that's the thing. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is the unsuccessful people say, I can't do this. The successful people say, how can I do this?
Right.
And that's an example of a reframe, like we were just talking about on the objection handling.
So how would you handle someone's objection right now if they were objecting about going to the Gutter Summit?
Well, it depends on what the objection would be. So give me an example.
I want to go. I'll probably go next year, but I'm just so busy. I got months worth of work right now.
Yeah, well, that's a good problem to have, that you got months worth of work. So is taking 1 week off going to cause you to have to close your doors?
No.
Okay. So, I mean, if it's not going to hurt you, why wouldn't you want to grow so that you could learn how to not be in the same position again next year?
I like that. Yeah, because I mean, most of it's just they're valuing the 3 days worth of work that they're going to miss because they're not out there personally doing it. But if you come here, maybe you can learn some strategies that will remove you from the truck.
Yeah.
And maybe you could be there and someone else could be doing the work those 3 days.
Right. The big thing about these seminars, guys, is a lot of times seminars suck. A lot of times they're full of pitches and they're boring and they don't have very much value. But here's the cool thing about seminars is all you need is one little golden nugget that makes it all worthwhile. Because if you can learn something, let's say it costs you 10 grand to go pay for the VIP, travel, airfare, hotel, food, all that stuff, and lost wages. Let's just say it was 10 grand, right? But you learn one little thing that saves your company $100,000 or makes you an extra $100,000. Like, for example, the Christmas lights thing. Like, you can learn how to make an extra $100,000 in profit from one little weekend, and now all of a sudden, you added $500,000 of revenue stream to your business. So now you don't have to be in a position where you either value you have two currencies or two commodities. It's either time or money, and if you're broke, then you value your money more than you value your time. So you're willing to you hold on to your money more tightly than you do your time. So what ends up happening is you end up wasting your time, and time is the one thing we can't get back. So if you're wealthy people invest money to get more time. Broke people trade their time for money. So what do you want to be?
Yeah, take the time, come to the summit. I see Jesse here commented, grow. If you want a chance to win a free Gutter Summit ticket, that's how to do it. Go ahead and comment the word grow in the comments, and we will do a drawing.
Looks like Jesse's going to win the drawing.
I know, right?
No competition.
You got any questions for us too? Jeremy's going to be at the Gutter Summit speaking about sales objections. Anything sales is a good question for us right now. So yeah, man, you still been hitting the gym?
I took a little bit of time off and just got out of a rhythm and just started getting back into it again. So I've got a little torn meniscus I'm nursing right now. So that's the one thing. So I'm skipping leg day a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm doing deadlifts, but I can't do squats.
What do you got to do for that? Like a surgery or?
Right now I'm doing stem cells on it. I'm hoping trying to avoid surgery, because if you do surgery, then it means that you'll end up having like a knee replacement in 10 years. And I'm too young for that. So no go on that if I can help it at all.
Let me know how that goes, because I'm thinking about it. I had that injury from a fall a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's the second treatment. And they say that about 80% of the people have results after Jesse needs two, huh? So second treatment, usually 80% of the people are recovered by that point. And that's like 8 weeks. So
it's pretty huge.
Yeah. We'll see.
So,
man, I guess everybody's master salespeople and is making $1 million a year in income, huh?
Yeah. So we're 22 days away from the summit, guys. If you want to win a free ticket. Jesse might be getting one of them. Looks like.
My big thing that I hear people in terms of sales, we'll just BS for right now until somebody wants to ask something. But the big thing that I hear people say that are like small one-man bands is they don't like the idea of charging high prices, or they don't like the idea, like they think about LeafFilter as like being a scam, as an example. Like they think that LeafFilter is a scam because it's such a high price, or they think that's a scam because, you know, they start with a high price and then they drop down in prices. And, you know, it's what's funny is a lot of these people that like that mental mindset is what's holding them back from being successful. I'm just going to stir up a little controversy here.
How much is LeafFilter getting a foot right now?
I don't know. It depends on the market. I can tell you when I was selling there, it was starting off at $38 a foot. Yeah. And that wasn't including admin fees or miters or adjusting the gutter height and stuff. I was routinely selling it for about $45 to $50 a foot.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you figure in all those things. All right. Jeremy, started at LeafFilter 4 weeks ago. Love implementing your style into my demos. 25 demos and still have plenty to learn. Who is that?
I don't know.
XE Coach.
What's your name, brother?
So I'm curious, when he says he loves implementing my style, I wonder where he got my style from.
I do like at least having samples out. I sold an Alurex job a couple of weeks ago, where the price doubled. And they had no problem with it. So, but the thing was, I had something to show them.
Yeah, I think the big thing that LeafFilter does a really good job of is they take their time with walking through the customer through the shop around experience. You know, they start with the low end stuff, like your little metal, you know, crisscross stuff that a lot of, you know, I'm just going to call people out. I'm just going to piss people off. Let's stir up some controversy. They sell the cheap shit and they think that LeafFilter is expensive. And it's not about price, guys. It's about the results. So when you go out to people's homes that have those screens up, that have the little chicken wire type of stuff, sure, it's the cheapest stuff you can put on there. But if it's not keeping the leaves and debris out from the gutter, we'll get to your question in just a little bit, Jesse. You know, if it's not keeping the stuff out of the gutter screen or out of the gutter, why would you even charge for that? Because it's better than nothing, or because you're not responsible to take care of the problems after it gets clogged again later on down the road?
So are you giving a couple different options at LeafFilter?
Yeah. So you walk them through. Yeah. You walk them through. And what this also does is, it gives them the idea of the low end, and it gives them the idea of the high end stuff. Like if you had a sample of Gutter Guard or K Guard or Leaf Guard, like those products sell for like $80 to $100 a foot. So if you got, let's just use $100 foot just for a nice, easy math number, because I'm not very smart. You can say, you know, a project like this on a 100-foot home would cost like $8,000 to $10,000 if you were to go with Leaf Guard. You could show them the cheap products and say, hey, you know, you could probably do this for $300 to $500 for the low end stuff. Mm-hmm. So now you've given them a range of what the highest stuff could cost and what the lowest end stuff could cost. And then your product's not going to be the cheapest thing. Your product's not going to be the most expensive thing. And then you could talk about how your product is better than the other products that are higher priced than yours and lower priced than yours.
That's actually what I've been doing. I've been given 3 options on all my leaf protection products, and starting off with the mesh one, really cheap, and then something high grade and something kind of in the middle. And surprisingly, people are buying at the top.
Now it's your product. You offer 3 different products?
3 different products.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. It's kind of the good, better, best scenario. And then when they go for the more expensive one, you just ask them, like, I'm curious, well, what makes you believe, why do you feel like this is the way for you to go? And they'll sell themselves on why they want to go with this high-end product. So I see Jesse's question on here. So Jesse, you said, what percentage do you pay a salesman on commission? So first of all, I believe that sales is the lifeblood of your business. And I believe that if you have a salesperson is motivated to make money, so the more money you can pay them, the more motivated they will be. I will tell you this, LeafFilter pays up to 24% commission. And their products are higher priced than most people's products.
I didn't realize they went that high.
They go up to 24% total, right? They cap it at 24% because they don't want you to price gouge. Because if I could sell a $5,000 job for $15,000 and just rip people's heads off, then they're trying to prevent that from happening. Although some of your customers would beg to differ that they already are, but that's just again, it's a mental model. When you're able to close 60% of the leads you go on, not 60, the majority of the population aren't idiots. If you can sell it for 60% at a higher price than what you're currently charging, there's probably something they know that you don't know. And if you knew what they knew, you'd probably make more money in your business. So for Jesse, who asked that question, 10% is standard in sales in general across the industries out there. 10% is standard. But why would you pay somebody just 10% if they could learn how to bring in more money and then you could pay them more? And the reason why it goes up to 24% is because let's say you got a $10,000 job. $10,000 job at 10% would pay that sales rep $1,000. Well, if that same sales rep could sell that $10,000 job for $12,000, again, I'm not a very smart person, so let's just use easy numbers here. That means there's $2,000 of extra profit there. Well, what's the company going to do with an extra $2,000? Just keep it all for themselves and say, thanks, John, here's your 10% of $12,000. Or would you rather say, hey, John, normally we would pay you $1,000, but you sold this for $2,000 above our normal asking price. How about this? Why don't you keep on doing that? We'll split the extra profit over and above the $10,000 for 50%. Now John gets an extra $1,000 bonus because he got 50% of the $2,000 of gross profit.
$2,000.
And now he has $2,000 on a $12,000 sale. Not too shabby. That's not at 24% yet. What if he sold that job at 15 or 13,000 or 14,000? Now you're venturing into the $3,000 commission for a $13,000, $14,000 product. Let's just see what the math comes out to on that. $3,000 divided by $14,000. That's 21%. How would you like it if your salespeople could sell a job consistently for $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 more than what you're currently selling it for right now?
So it's more of an incentive to sell above the minimum quota. Yeah,
exactly. Or you could just go ahead and sell for the minimum quota and and be happy with your mediocre numbers.
So guys, if there's anyone new that jumped on, we're giving out a free Gutter Summit ticket. You have to comment the word grow. So far, it's looking like Jesse has it, unless someone's competing.
200 people. I guess all 200 people have tickets to the gutter, and they don't need an extra ticket, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're at like 250 right now, or 260, somewhere around there.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited to go. Last one was good.
Oh, here we go. We got a couple more. What's up, Jesse?
Oh, Jesse's trying to compete. Oh, Keeson's up. Jesse, you got 1 out of 3 chances. Still pretty good odds. It's better than most people's closing percentage.
Where's the sweet spot for you?
Closing percentage?
Yeah.
If you're closing less than 50%, you're a loser.
Fair enough.
Because you're literally losing more sales than you're winning.
You're winning.
And if a company, so like if you're a sports team and you had a losing record, you would be called a losing team, right?
Yeah.
So now that one hurts the ego a little bit, right?
Don't be a loser.
Right. Don't be a loser. I remember literally when I was selling for Renewal by Anderson, if you were a stud, if you closed at 40%. And I came over to LeafFilter, and the company average was 51% at the time. It's now like 60 some odd percent. And so it's literally like, okay, mediocre sales reps close at 51%. So if you're less than 51%, if you're less than the average, what does that make you?
Below average.
Yeah, below average. Sounds like a loser to me. And it was like, oh, that fucking hurt. It was like a punch to the ego, man. And I was like, no, fuck that. I'm going to, it pissed me off when he was like, if you close less than 50%, you're a loser.
So what did they do to go from 51 to 60%? As a whole company?
Yeah, I think what it is, it's a combination of things. I think more marketing means more name brand recognition, more, people that have a chance that heard about LeafFilter, more about, also, I think you just had more reps that were there longer, so they had more experience. And I also think they started cracking down on reps to drop the price down to cost in order to get a job. So LeafFilter does have a price drop sequence to where if they can't make money on a job, they'd rather sell a job with minimal profit just to starve out competitors like you guys who are watching this right now. Because if it can take a $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 job off of your table that you would be feeding your family with, well, then the likelihood of you going out of business is higher, and they'd rather do that than let you guys continue to survive. So that should piss you off a little bit to get better.
Justin's got a question. He says, where can I find a salesman that knows about gutters?
Here's can I say something real quick about this? This goes for any industry, guys. Instead of looking for people that already have the skills, look for people that have a good attitude and then train them with the skills, because gutters aren't that complicated.
My take on it, I've had pretty good results with bringing roofing salesmen into gutters. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because whenever I brought a sales guy from another gutter company, or maybe even if they were an installer, their mindset is stuck at low prices generally, because most gutter companies are charging shit prices.
Yep.
And so you bring them over and you tell them, hey, I'm going to be selling at $10 a foot or $12 or 15 or whatever that price is. If they were at a company that was only selling $6, they think you're just ripping everyone off. Yep, they don't understand how much marketing costs, how much it costs to run a business, the insurances, the work comp. Yep. You'd be surprised how many companies are not running legally, so they don't have all actualized expenses. And they couldn't afford all that stuff at those prices. But you have that mental barrier when you bring them from a gutter company. And so I found that getting roofing guys were selling for what insurance companies are paying generally. Yep. So they're already accustomed to selling $12, $15 a foot. Yep. They don't have the same mental barrier coming into it, and it's totally a mind game.
I agree 100%. The big thing I hear from like Cardone and those guys is you hire for attitude and you train for aptitude. Mm-hmm. So, because here's the thing, what if you bring on a guy who's a rock star salesperson from, let's say, a LeafFilter or a gutter helmet or gutter leaf guard, right? What kind of bad habits are they going to bring? What kind of bad attitudes are they going to bring? That would you rather have somebody that can sell that's a headache? Or would you rather have somebody that's a fucking rock star with an attitude, with a good attitude, that is hungry and willing to learn and is coachable, and then you could just train them up in a couple of weeks? I frankly would have the latter.
How did LeafFilter take someone that didn't know anything about gutters and then kind of turn them into a gutter salesperson?
Literally, it's about a system. You have to have systems, and you guys teach this at Gutter Summit. It's like if you don't have systems, it doesn't really matter. So literally a guy would walk in day one on Tuesday, we'll say, and for the first half of the day, they'll train them on the closing sequence, right? And the pre-close and those things. And they'll just teach them the sales side of things. Then day two, they'll teach them the pitch. And then day three, they'll teach them, like a little bit about gutters and how to do the paperwork. And then day four, they're out in the field. And
so they're actually they got 4 days training. They're just not hiring someone and saying, "Here, go sell."
Yeah, barely. Literally, it's like the ops managers are so busy they don't even have time to answer the phone and talk to them. They're playing videos and stepping out and taking phone calls. And if they get slow, then they say, "Hey, practice amongst yourselves." So it's the blind leading the blind. but it's literally like a half day of classroom, and then they'll do a ride along in the evening and watch a sales rep. And then they'll do half a day, go on a ride along with another rep. And then literally the third day, it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they're running leads on Friday. So it's literally like 3 half days and 2 days of ride alongs.
Okay. And then they're just out there, got some real life experience. And then
do
they have someone mentoring them through
the
first couple of weeks, or just
sink or swim?
Gotcha.
And all it is like you have a script, right? There's a script of their pre-close. There's a script of the 12-step closing sequence. And there's like a framework of objection handling and the script for the demonstration. And that's about it. So you just memorize, the script to be able to regurgitate it as best you can.
If there's anyone new on, we're going to be giving out a free Gutter Summit ticket. You got to comment the word GROW in the comments, and for a chance to win. Jeremy's going to be speaking on objection handling at the summit. If you have any questions for us about objections, about sales, we're going to be on for another 5-10 minutes. So now's the time to ask.
Jesse's chances just went down to 1 out of 4.
Which is still a good chance. Still
pretty good chance.
Yeah.
If you think 25% close ratio is a pretty good close ratio, it's still a pretty good chance.
They say that, like, if you show up first, 25% of people just buy from the first person that they talk to.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you want to hear how to overcome the 3 bids objection?
I do.
Okay. Right. So the first thing is, like, one of the things I like to do is figure out how to kill objections early on in the conversation so that I'm not given a price. I'm like, okay, so your price is $5,000. And they go, okay, sounds good. I need to go collect a few more bids. I'll call you back. Right. So before you get to the 3 bids, before you even get to the price, I like to ask this one question. I like to say, so I'm curious, like, how long have you been out there in the market, like looking at gutter companies to kind of get a ballpark idea of what a project like this might even cost you? And that'll tell me if I'm either the first one or the only one or the second or the third one or whatever. That'll give me some valuable intel. And I love it when I'm the first, because I'll say, oh, that's interesting. How many other companies did you try to get a hold of to call to schedule appointments? And they'll say, well, we called 3 companies. Okay. Am I just the first company that you got a hold of, or are we just the first ones that actually like showed up? And they go, oh no, you're the first ones that showed up. Sometimes they'll say, oh yeah, I called these other companies. They didn't even call me back.
Yeah.
Right. And so I love saying this. I'll be like, do you have any idea? You're in Georgia, right? In Atlanta?
No, I'm in Florida.
You're in Florida. What part?
Palm Beach County.
Palm Beach. Okay. So I'll say, Tim, do you have any idea how many freaking gutter companies there are in Palm Beach County? You have any idea?
Yeah, there's about 250.
250. Yeah. I mean, there's hundreds of them.
Hundreds.
So I'm curious, how do you know out of those like hundreds that you called the right ones to get a quote from? I mean, are you going to call all 250 of them? I like to ask questions to plant seeds of doubt into their decision-making process, right? And they'll say, so I'm curious also, like, are we the first company that has that you called, or are we just the first ones that have showed up? And they'll say, oh, no, yeah, you're the first ones that showed up. I'll say, I always think it's interesting. If you're trying to call a company to say, here, take my money, and they're slow to respond when you're trying to give them your money, I wonder how quick they're going to be able to respond if something goes wrong and they need to come out there and fix a problem. Again, planting little seeds of doubt to where it's like, and they don't end up,
That's why people like when you have someone answering the phone, or you have a VA and they can get immediate attention always. It sucks when they have a problem and they call you, but you're out on a roof and, they don't hear from you for 24 hours.
Right.
We got a question here. Jeremy, what's your best way to handle them just wanting to leave a quote for a year and they don't even want to let you give them a demo?
That's a good question. So first of all, Keeson, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. I don't know if it's Keeson or Kyson. I think it might be Kyson.
I think it's Kyson.
Kyson. Okay. Like Tyson, but with a K.
Tell us if we're wrong.
Yeah. So Kyson, first things first is you have to get your prospects into results-based thinking rather than price-based thinking. What I mean by that is they didn't call you out there to give them a free quote that's good for a year. You're not going out to people's homes to sell them gutters and gutter screens. I know that's like mind blowing, right? They're calling to get the to get the quote for the result that the gutters and the gutter screens will Keeson. Okay, cool. All right, so I was right the first time. Thank you. So they're calling to get the result that those gutters and gutter screens will deliver for them. So the results-based thinking, not price-based thinking, is what you want to get them to. So they didn't call you to get a quote for the gutters. So you have to drill and ask them questions about like, okay, I'm curious, what is it that you're wanting a quote on exactly? What, you have to ask them, get down to the real truth of the matter. They didn't call you out there to just give them a quote. There's something going on that they just haven't divulged to you yet. And you have to figure out what that is. And then you have to figure out what's important to them. And you can, if they just want a price, like, okay, I'll give you a price. It's $1 million. Do you know what you're getting for it? It doesn't matter if I tell you the price is $1 or the price is $1 million. If you don't know what you're getting for your money, of course they do want a demo. How do you get the customer to walk around when they do not want to? That's a good question.
Let me answer it real quick, and then I'll have you answer it. I don't ask them. I pretty much tell them, like, unless they're in a wheelchair or something, it's just like, come on, we're gonna walk around. I need to show you this. And I personally like to take the authority on it, so I'm not asking, I'm telling.
Yeah. That's pretty good. So first things first, one of the first steps that you go through whenever you do any sort of in-home sales is you have to set the agenda. So you have to let the prospect know how this appointment's going to go, because oftentimes they've never even done this before. And so they're like, I don't know, am I supposed to ask you questions, or what am I supposed to do here? So one of the things I like to say, and you can steal this, is, so the first part of this is pretty basic. I just need to have you walk around the property with me and just kind of show me your biggest areas of concerns right now. And then I'm going to ask you some questions about kind of where you're at right now versus what you're looking to accomplish, just to see if we can even help you. Because sometimes people have neglected their gutters for so long that even if they want to throw their money at us, we can't even help them. And then once I'm done with that, you can go inside. I'll take pictures. I'll do my measurements. I'll sit in my little mobile cubicle and figure out how many millions of dollars this is going to cost. And then I'll come back inside and show you what I found on the inspection and answer any questions you have, if that sounds good. So that way I'm also letting them know I'm going to come inside your home. We're not doing this on your tailgate of your truck or on your garbage can or on your front porch. I'm going to come inside. So that's pretty much very similar to what Tim said. You have to lead with authority and just show them that you're there to help them, and they'll buy into your frame if you show up with that confidence and that certainty. If you show up with a weak confidence and certainty, they're going to walk all over you.
People could smell it too. They could smell weakness.
Yep.
They could smell the desperation. Like, that's the worst thing you could do, is be desperate.
That's a big thing that causes objections, is when you're so desperate to make the sale that they can tell that you need the sale, then they're going to take advantage of you. Like, I joke around on here just because I'm trying to get some activity going in here, but it's like I'm trying to like provoke some people and bruise their egos a little bit, because like, if you buy from me or not, it's cool, but ultimately I'm here to help the people that want the help and that need the help. And the guys that have the ego, nobody can help them, so it doesn't really matter what they think. Same thing goes for your homeowners. If they're not really serious homeowners that are actually looking to improve their homes, then it doesn't really matter if you say something that pisses them off, because they weren't going to buy anyways.
Yep. And I never really, when I get asked to go down in price, I never really do. Normally it gives me respect. And I'm personally not someone that goes down in price that much. I know LeafFilter is a little bit different.
Yeah. I mean, again, when LeafFilter goes down in price, they're charging what guys would dream of charging for your guys. They're
That's
going
so
down.
true.
They're going down to $15 a foot or something like that, and evidently that makes them a bad guy when you can't even close your own deals at $15 a foot.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we're talking gutters.
and you know, a lot of the things that they're buying into, whether you believe in that product or don't believe in it, I personally don't know. I don't have too much experience with it, but they're buying the brand, and you know they want to feel good, and so it just shows to you how important branding really is. You should be positioning your company to where you know they feel good about you before you get there. You know, because
Yeah,
a lot of people are bought into LeafFilter before you get there.
Yeah, I would, having sold it for 5 years, I would beg to argue with you on that one.
Really?
Yeah, I
Can you
would.
explain?
Yeah, because less than 10%, you know how you said, like, if you're the first person that shows up, like 25% of people buy.
Mm-hmm.
I think 10% of the people that show up will buy from LeafFilter for that reason. Then 10% that you show up to won't buy no matter fucking what. It's the 80% in the middle that determines how good of a closer you really are. And so the thing is with like LeafFilter, is it a perfect product? And you know, is it a perfect product? Absolutely not. Show me one that is.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I mean, I think they all need maintenance.
they all really do. And that's why, like, when I first started, they would say maintenance free, but they don't really say that anymore. Here's the thing. When you're talking about the flaws of LeafFilter, a lot of times you're talking about the old version of LeafFilter, not the new one, for one, right? Number two is if there was a flaw, like, for example, let's say, you know, something organic grew on the surgical grade stainless steel mesh like moss. Well, that's a warranty deal. So technically, if you go out to a person's house that has LeafFilter and they go, yeah, this is the shittiest product I've ever bought. I paid $8,000 for this piece of crap, and look at it growing algae on it. Most sales reps for other companies or owners of other companies will be like, yeah, fuck those guys. Here, buy my screen.
Yeah.
And then you just rip that customer off. You know why you ripped them off? It's because you cared more about selling your product than actually helping the prospect. Because all you had to do was tell the prospect, you know what, it's not supposed to do that. Why don't you call their 1-800 number and get it fixed under warranty and replaced for free rather than buying my product? But most guys
they have a lifetime warranty like that?
Lifetime transferable warranty. So even if they weren't the person who bought the product, odds are there's a warranty on it. So do you care more about selling your own product and putting money in your own pocket? Or do you care more about helping the customer? Because that's what you're claiming, that the LeafFilter, you know, people, all they care about is money, but you're doing the same thing if you're not doing what's right by the customer. Another little challenge you. Come fight me in person. I'm 6'4". I'll be on stage. You can find me.
Are you that tall?
Yeah, you've met me.
I knew you were tall, but I didn't know 6'4". Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, we got like 5 minutes left to get a chance to win a Gutter Summit ticket. Comment GROW in the comments, and if you got any questions, now's the time to ask before we sign off.
But only ask if you want to learn how to make more money. If you don't want to make more money, don't ask questions. Just
silent.
Yeah. In fact, don't even go to gutter growth, because if you don't want to make more money, don't go to gutter growth. Like you'll make too much money if you go to gutter growth. Just stay home. Matter of fact, just close your business. Just quit.
I had this boss that this is going back like 15 years ago. But he would make us eat breakfast every morning before we went out, and it used to piss me off because I just wanted to be out there hitting, you know, getting my percentage, getting the work done at the time. But you know, it was actually a good lesson, because sometimes you gotta stop and work on the business. And there were so many conversations that we had during those breakfasts, and you know, I didn't own a company at the time, but I was sitting across the table from someone did, and you know, it kind of taught me something, that you're not really making the money being busy all the time. It's being able to step back and work on the business. So definitely a place to go, and it's going to open up your eyes if you come.
Yeah, it's cool when you can meet people who are more advanced than you, because like when you meet guys that, you know, you think you're hot shit because you got $1 million gutter business, but yet you're only really netting about 50 grand in like actual after your business expenses. And then you meet other guys who've got $5 and $10 million gutter businesses. And you're like, oh, I'm not as good as I thought I was.
So Jeremy, is your pre-closed any different than it was the last time you were on the podcast?
Good question. So the pre-close is pretty much the same. So it's, you know, you're basically, when you're walking people through a pitch, you're doing tie downs along the way, right? You're saying, okay, does this sound like the type of company you would want to do business with? Why is that? Okay, does this look like the type of product you would want to do? Why is that? Or would you want to do these other products? Why is that? Right? And you're tying them down so they have no, it's like funneling a kid down a hallway. You're closing all the bedroom doors and bathroom doors and funneling the escape route to where the only way they can go is out the door. And you, once you've got all these tie downs in place, then you go, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like this is something you're wanting to do like eventually, like if not now, then sometime in the future. Am I way off base here? Am I reading you wrong? And most people will say, no, yeah, we want to do it eventually. And it's like, all right, cool. So since it's not a matter of like if you want to do it, but it's more like when you want to do it, what we do is we give you a price that's good for a year. So, and then I'll show you how you can save a little bit of money by considering getting started on it sooner rather than later. Because whether it's the total price or maybe even a low monthly payment that fits in the budget, if it's affordable, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to get started on it if it was affordable? And that's the pre-close. And what that does is it gets the prospect's mind to think that, yeah, if it's affordable, why wouldn't I want to do it? And then
there are times with gutters that they really are pre-planning a year out. I mean, it's crazy, but there really are super planners out there. And it's usually because gutters are the last thing getting done. They might have the roof, they might have the windows, they might have the painting, the siding, you know, all this other stuff, the landscaping, whatnot. They have all these things to get done. And us gutter guys are usually the last. So it's not like it's never going to happen. But if that's not the case, you're going to know it and try to push them.
Well, and the thing is, you can reframe them too. Because if they say, oh yeah, we're doing this a year out. Oh wow, so soon? Why are gutters so important to you? Well, you know, and they start to sell themselves and they go, well, we got this other project with the roof and the windows and stuff. I go, oh, okay. So out of those projects, which one's the highest priority for you? And they'll say, well, the roof. I go, okay, what is it about the roof that makes it the highest priority for you? Is it leaking? Well, no, it's not leaking, but it's like bound to do it eventually. Okay, gotcha. What about the windows? How high is that? Oh, that's next on the list. Okay, what is it about the windows that are such a priority for you? You know, and they'll tell you their reasons, right? And then you can ask them when you do your thorough inspection, you find problems. 1 out of 6 now. Actually, I think Cicely already said grow once.
Yeah.
Still at 1 for 5. But then you find out that it's not like they have windows that are broken that have a big gaping hole in them that need to be replaced right now. It's not like the roof is leaking and is causing damage to the interior of their home. But when you go look at the gutters and you've got rotted wood and foundation issues and erosion and this and this and this, all of a sudden it seems like, you know, maybe gutters should be a little bit higher priority than these cosmetic things. Because it's like if you had a car and you wanted to put a paint job on it and you want to put new rims on it and put a stereo in it, but it's leaking oil or it's overheating, like what's really the priority here? Is it that your car looks good and sounds good? Or is it that it runs good? And then you can worry about those other things. And a lot of times you can get gutters bumped up on that priority list based on doing a really good inspection and questioning and challenging the prospect on why those other things are, in their opinion, a higher priority than gutters, and get them to reframe their thinking. Because a lot of people's mental models and how they make decisions is jacked up anyways.
Yeah, you're going to kind of direct it.
Yep.
And I noticed that you're saying, like, this whole time you're saying questions.
Mm-hmm.
So you're asking questions to uncover these objections and,
Yep.
you know, figure out where they're at. the more that you know, the more that you know, the easier it's going to be to close. Because you're
Well, and
position yourself.
yeah, and here's the thing: prospects don't care how much you know until they know how much you
care.
Exactly. And how do you show that you care?
Asking questions.
Right. And you actually listen to what they say. And then when you ask a question, you listen to what they say, it might stir up more curiosity for more questions. And then you ask them more questions about themselves. And before you know it, they realize that this guy really cares. He knows his shit. And you know what? Maybe I should buy from him.
Mm-hmm.
Novel concept, right?
True. So, all right. I guess that's it, man. I appreciate you coming on here today, and excited to see you at the summit. Yeah. And last chance, if you guys want to comment, grow. We're signing off now. So last chance. Any last words?
Last call for alcohol.
Oh, we got someone. All right, brother.
Did Michael ask a question, or is Michael just saying grow?
Just saying grow.
Okay. All right. Grow, baby, grow. All right, Tim. Good to see you, brother.
All right, brother. I will see you here in 22 days.
See ya. Look forward to it.
All right, brother. See you.